Good evening, everyone. Welcome to NTD Tonight. I'm David Zhang. Here is a preview of some of today's top stories. Hollywood actor Vin Diesel faces a sexual battery allegations. By who and why? The United Nations passes a resolution to send more aid to civilians in Gaza, but the final resolution dropped some key requests to prevent a U.S. veto. Need some last-minute shopping or a bite to eat on Christmas Day? Find out which stores will remain open. First up, Vin Diesel has been accused by his former assistant of sexual battery while working for him in 2010. NTD's Christina Corona has more on the story.
Asta Jonasson filed a lawsuit in Los Angeles accusing Vin Diesel of sexual assault in an Atlanta hotel suite. The lawsuit alleges she tried to escape from the room after being forced into Diesel's bed, but the actor moved toward her, then groped her breasts and kissed her chest. Jonasson claims she was fired by Diesel's sister, Samantha Vincent, after resisting his advances. The lawsuit includes charges of creating a hostile work environment, negligent supervision, and wrongful termination. Diesel's lawyer, Brian Friedman, said in a statement, "Let me be very clear. Vin Diesel categorically denies this claim in its entirety." He goes on to say, "This is the first time he has ever heard about this more than 13-year-old claim made by a purportedly 9-day employee. There is clear evidence which completely refutes these outlandish allegations." Jonasson previously signed a non-disclosure agreement, but is able to speak out due to the Speak Out Act. Christina Corona, NTD News.
Now let's take a look at other national headlines. The Supreme Court has declined to issue an expedited ruling today on whether former President Trump has immunity from prosecution related to the 2020 election interference case. The court denied without comment special counsel Jack Smith's request asking the justices to bypass appeals court and quickly decide on the question of presidential immunity before the primary election. The Supreme Court will instead let the appellate court hear the immunity case following the normal legal procedure. Today, the United Nations Security Council approved a resolution calling for immediate aid deliveries to civilians in Gaza. After a week of delays and discussions, the final resolution left out a call for a ceasefire and passed it in a 13-0 vote, with the United States and Russia abstaining. It also calls for creating conditions toward a sustainable cessation of hostilities but does not define any steps. Meanwhile, on the ground in Gaza, an American hostage has died. 73-year-old Gadi Hagai is the first U.S. citizen confirmed to have died while imprisoned by the Hamas terror group, who allegedly killed him. Officials believe his wife is still being held hostage. In an escalating conflict, Israel has also been exchanging fire with the Hezbollah terrorist group in Lebanon. The Czech government declared Saturday a national day of mourning to honor the victims of Thursday's shooting. Police say a student killed the 14 people at the university in Prague before turning the gun on himself. 20 people were also injured in the attack. The bloodshed took place in the philosophy department building of the Charles University. 3 of those wounded were foreigners, 2 from the United Arab Emirates and 1 from the Netherlands. Czech President Petr Pavel addressed the nation.
First, I would like to express great sadness and powerless anger over this absolute senseless loss of these many young lives. I want to express my deepest condolence to all the bereaved and wish for everyone who was present there during this tragic incident, the most tragic incident of this kind in the history of the Czech Republic, to recover quickly from their wounds and with as few consequences as possible.
New York City's teachers' union is suing to block planned cuts to the city's public schools. The group says Mayor Eric Adams proposed the budget reductions would weaken key education initiatives. Adams has argued that slashing city spending is necessary to offset the rising costs of New York's migrant crisis. The cuts would amount to $550 million. The United Federation of Teachers filed a lawsuit in state court Thursday. The union accuses the mayor of exaggerating the city's physical woes. A state law prevents New York City from reducing school spending unless overall revenue declines. Adams has faced growing fallout over a multi-billion-dollar budget cut announced last month. The mayor's poll numbers have dropped to the lowest point since taking office. As much as we want to spend Christmas Day opening up presents under the tree and enjoying time with loved ones, sometimes you have to head outside for a last-minute stocking stuffer or even a bite to eat. NTD's Christina Corona tells us which businesses will be open on Christmas Day.
We're here at Albertsons, which is one of many stores that will be open on Christmas. In an effort to save you time driving from store to store only to find your favorites closed, we rounded up all the stores open on Christmas Day. Stores that are open on Christmas Day are Acme, Albertsons, Bravo Supermarkets, Casey's General Store, Circle K, Cumberland Farms, which in the past they offered free coffee and other hot beverages to all customers on Christmas morning, CVS, Duane Reade, Giant, Quick Check, some Safeway stores, Starbucks, Walgreens, Wawa, and 7-Eleven. Restaurants open on Christmas Day include Benihana, Chart House, Denny's, Domino's, Dunkin', Fogo de Chao, IHOP, Luby's, McDonald's, and STK Steakhouse. Many businesses and restaurants will have reduced hours on December 25th, so be sure to call ahead to confirm your local store hours. Whether you're last-minute shopping for those final touches or choosing to stay inside, may you have a safe, joyful, and festive holiday. Christina Corona, NTD News, Arcadia.
We'll have more Christmas stories coming up, but first, shoplifting in California is out of hand. One homeless man has been arrested nearly 100 times for stealing from stores.
44-year-old Jesse Leonardo Otero was recently arrested again for shoplifting. According to Cron 4 News, this is his 90th time in the last several years. By now, San Francisco Bay Area law enforcement officers know the homeless man well. He gets by through stealing from stores. Otero commutes by public transportation. Under California's Prop 47 law, theft under $950 is considered a misdemeanor instead of a felony. Therefore, Otero, like other repeat offenders, are often released shortly after an arrest.
California's spiraling crime has nothing to do with poverty. That's according to one district attorney. He says the state's policies allow them to get away with it with little to no consequences.
California insider Siamak Karami sits down with Vern Pearson, El Dorado County's district attorney, to uncover the causes of crime and homelessness in California. He says the reason for spiraling crime is mostly due to public policies in the last decade.
It's something called realignment, where we took a large percentage of state prisoners and we sent them back to the jails, and we made the jails more crowded, which by making the jails more crowded, it meant people got released earlier. So we did that. That was the first part. Then that was compounded by Prop 47, which made a lot of felonies into misdemeanors, particularly low-level property crimes, as well as hardcore drug use.
But the reason for crime to escalate is due to the state granting more and more early releases in the last 3 years.
Combining all of these different things, we have created a culture here in the state of California, essentially increasing lawlessness. And in other words, there is no accountability for property crimes. If you take somebody else's property, we have, as a government, we have sent a message: there's little or no accountability for taking other people's property.
That, and combined with little to no consequence for using hard drugs, shape the state today. There are also harm reduction sites set up to prevent overdose, but he says this doesn't solve the problem.
Harm reduction says the drugs will kill you, using heroin, using fentanyl, or whatever it might be. Eventually it will kill you, and probably not that far in the distant future, but we're going to minimize the harm today. And so you're less likely to die today, but you'll eventually die from the drugs. Those two major policy shifts that we made over the last 8 years, the consequence of them are very real.
Pearson said, while there is a small percentage of people committing the crimes, they do it over and over again since there are no consequences. Organized retail theft and smash and grab have been plaguing cities like San Francisco. And because people do not feel safe shopping anymore, businesses start to shut down. Westfield Mall lost so many of its stores due to low foot traffic that it is planning to leave the city.
We'll take a short break now, everybody, but here's a look at what we have for you when we come back. Coaching chaoses in the NFL. Who might get fired due to their performance and who might replace them? Colorful lights decorate homes and trees, but some homeowners like to go the extra mile. We'll take a look at some Christmas lighting displays. Santa is in for a busy weekend delivering gifts to kids around the world. Want to know his exact location? The U.S. military will keep a close eye on Old St. Nick. Those stories and more coming up on NTD Tonight. Welcome back to NTD Tonight. I'm your host, David Zhang. The NFL has seen a roller coaster of emotions in 2023, especially for the coaches on the hot seat. I'm joined by NTD's Carlos Reyes to break down the recent coaching shakeups. Hey, Carlos, it seems like this year has been pretty rough for some football coaches. Can you give us an overview of the NFL coaching landscape now?
Absolutely, David. It's been a tough year for several NFL coaches, and as we approach Black Monday, it's clear that more changes are on the horizon. The Las Vegas Raiders, the Carolina Panthers, and now the Los Angeles Chargers have all hit the reset button and are setting the stage for an offseason filled with coaching searches.
Okay, let's talk about Las Vegas Raiders and Josh McDaniels. What can you tell us about his departure and what the new coach is going to be facing?
Of course, David, I have to say the Raiders are in a very interesting situation as an organization. Josh McDaniels, known for his time with the Patriots, had a rough stint in Las Vegas. He went 2-0 against Bill Belichick, but struggled against everyone else. The team seemed directionless at times, and McDaniels' decisions alienated players. The new coach will take over with the quarterback duo of Aiden O'Connell and Jimmy Garoppolo, an offense capable of unpredictability, and key defensive players like Max Crosby and Amik Robertson. However, challenges like the uncertain status of Josh Jacobs' involvement in the team moving forward awaits the new regime. The new coach will need a game plan and maybe a compass to navigate the mess of a locker room that was left behind.
And what about the Carolina Panthers and its coach, Frank Reich? What led to his departure?
Well, David, Reich was brought in to oversee a significant overhaul, but clashes with the team owner and a questionable quarterback draft choice led to his departure after just 11 games. The new coach inherits quarterback Bryce Young, an offensive line and receiving core that needs improvement, and a defense with key pass rushers pending free agency. Financial constraints and an intriguing team owner who keeps a literal set of brass testicles on his desk add to the challenges.
Okay, what about the Los Angeles Chargers and Brandon Staley? What happened to him?
Well, David, Staley's bold approach and belief in analytics didn't translate into success. His fourth down decisions and defensive struggles were notable issues throughout the entire season. I mean, going for it on fourth down was his signature move, but it often felt like playing chess against someone who insists on using checkers pieces. The new coach inherits the talented Justin Herbert, but faces challenges with an expensive contract, an aging group of skill players, and a defense that ranks poorly in both points and yards allowed. The addition of Khalil Mack has been productive, but the overall defensive performance needs improvement ASAP.
All right, Carlos, thanks for breaking down for us.
No problem, David. It's always my pleasure.
Whether you're giving or receiving a gift card this holiday season, check carefully to make sure you're not falling for a scam. The Better Business Bureau is warning that gift card scams are surging. Here are some tips on how you can protect yourself.
They're a popular holiday gift idea, but scammers are increasingly targeting gift cards to steal from you.
Gift card scam reports are up 50% for 2023 over 2022, and we're not even done with the year yet.
The Better Business Bureau is reporting a surge in gift card scams, warning that scammers could be tampering with gift cards and stealing barcodes, or targeting online shoppers and asking them to pay with a gift card that's not from the retailer.
That's a huge red flag. There's a lot of scams that are perpetrated where the scammer is asking for a gift card, such as like a grandparent scam or a utility scam.
The BBB also warns consumers that scammers use other tactics to steal from them too. Before you buy a gift card, here's what to look out for to avoid becoming a victim. 1. Check for stickers covering the barcode by rubbing your finger over the back of the physical card. The stickers may contain a phony barcode, and when it gets scanned at checkout, you'll unwittingly be sending that cash to the scammer's account. 2. Be careful of websites that check your card's balance. The BBB says some sites could use your card's ID number and PIN and drain money from it.
When you buy a gift card and you give that number and that PIN to somebody, that money's gone. So it's really important to know who you're giving it to and what they're going to use it for.
And finally, check for ripped or wrinkled packaging. The BBB says thieves often remove gift cards from the display rack and record the numbers linked to that card, including the activation PIN.
Christmas is a wonderful time of the year, and many people enjoy the tradition of decorating a tree and putting up Christmas lights on their homes. But some homeowners like to go the extra mile. NTD's Helen Billings shows us around some California neighborhoods.
'Tis a season for homeowners to spend many hours decorating their houses into glowing works of Christmas joy. From the reindeer on the roof to the inflatable snowman in the yard, the process starts in September for Terry Perez in Danville, California. She repairs her own lights and is known as the Christmas Lights Lady. Her display is 100% LED. She said her electric bill increases about $400 for the holiday season.
It truly is a big commitment, but it's when you see the looks on everybody's faces and you see the parents dancing in the snow as well as the kids, it's priceless. There's just not a price you can put on it. And, it's just incomparable to anything else, truly.
Perez's house is listed on the website CaliforniaChristmasLights.com, which keeps a list of houses that shine the brightest and has helped her to gain some local popularity.
So I'd say like Friday and Saturday night, we could have easily had 200 people. And I keep count of, the way I keep count is we give these candy canes out to the children every night. And so I know how many candy canes I've gotten.
Terry said she loves Christmas and has always put up lights, but it was her grandchildren that inspired her to go for the wow factor.
It's really wonderful if you go out there and listen to everybody talking, and they're just like, is this your house? And I'd say, yeah. And they'd go, oh, it's magical. And it sounds funny for me to say, but, that's what they say. And it gives you more strength to do it again, right?
Further up north in the city of Concord, Cindy Bruno said she does it for the love of Christmas, and her husband John dresses up as Santa for the visitors.
It was just something that started little, and as our kids, we have 4 kids, as they got older, they helped it grow, and we've just grown it every year. Added something new every year, sometimes more than one thing. But, yep, it's just, and we love it. Brings joy to everybody, and it can make your saddest day happy. Just looking at all the lights.
Holiday decorations wouldn't be complete without the nativity scene. John Bruno has a tradition of singing a song in Italian when he places a baby Jesus in the manger. Wishing you a Merry Christmas. NTD News, Helen Billings, California.
The U.S. military says it's keeping a close eye on Santa. The North America Aerospace Defense Command in Colorado, or NORAD, says it monitors Santa and his sleigh from the moment it takes off from the North Pole.
As children around the world eagerly await Santa's arrival on Christmas, the U.S. military is ready to track him and see if he's using any new technology.
So NORAD has 68 years experience tracking Santa. And I will tell you, Santa doesn't file a flight plan with NORAD, but the great part is that we, NORAD, are able to use the technology, the same technology we use every single day to keep North America safe, to track Santa on December 24th. So it starts with our North Warning System radars. As soon as Santa departs the North Pole, those radars pick him up.
The tracking Santa tradition began in 1955 when an Air Force colonel fielded a call from a child who dialed a wrong number, thinking she was calling Santa. The fast-thinking colonel quickly assured the girl he was Santa. As more calls came in, he assigned a duty officer to keep answering, and the tradition began. NORAD expects over 1,000 volunteers to help answer calls this year. The operations center starts up at 4 a.m. on Christmas Eve and is open until midnight. Anyone can call 1-877-HI-NORAD to talk directly to NORAD staff members who will provide updates on Santa's exact location.
All right, that's all we've got for you tonight. We would like you to join us again on NTD Tonight every weekday at 9 p.m. I'm David Zhang. Stay warm and have a wonderful weekend. And from the entire NTD team, Merry Christmas.